Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Cake Radio Show. I'm the CakeDive, and I hope you guys are doing well because today we're going to be talking about Megan Thee Stallion and her performing at Kamala's rally in Atlanta and how people have been, you know, dissecting that and my thoughts on that. So, very self explanatory. Recently, Kamala Harris, who is now running for president and is now most likely going to be the Democratic nominee for president of the United States, did a rally in Atlanta recently. I believe she had Quavo there as well, but she most importantly had Megan Thee Stallion attend. And people have been talking on social media about her performing at the rally and people being like, oh, like she's twerking and she like, oh, like she shouldn't be twerking here at this political rally, or like, why is she performing at a political rally? Like, this is not, like, they're just like, oh, like they're trying to pander to us and da 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 da. And I'm gonna be honest with my thoughts. I think we have to accept, not like I've accepted the fact that there have been children left behind. I know here in the United States we said no child left behind, but baby, there have been children left behind, and they've turned into adults, and now they refuse to pick up books and they refuse to have context because I think that people are not understanding the nuance with this because it's all very straightforward. But I'm gonna hold y'all hands when I say this and guide you through this, okay? So people are talking about how this is pandering, and I feel like people are forgetting the fact that, like, one, this is a political campaign, and two, they have to get people to care about the political campaign. So you know what's important: marketing and pandering. And this, I wouldn't call Megan Thee Stallion being here pandering in any way, shape, or form. I think this is just marketing. And as someone who studies business and loves marketing, this is something that I'm very passionate about and very aware of. And when it comes to, and also someone who has interest in politics, because before I even decided to study business, I went from having interest in wanting to study politics and political science to wanting to study law, and then realizing that law is really not that fun, and it's very tactile and specific. So, and I eventually started taking classes that had interest in that, like, were business related and marketing related, and being like, oh, like, this is it. So ended up in business. But as someone who has had that interest in those three kind of topics, I've had an understanding that the the things that make political campaigns move aren't necessarily the leader who's running, the candidate who's running, or the policies per se. It's really how they market to people and how they get people excited and how they get people to vote. Because we can look at previous campaigns and see what has worked for previous candidates. I mean, with Barack Obama when he ran in 2008 and with his reelection in 2012, there was always but more specifically 2008, there was the marketing and like promise of, change, and the huge sort of rise in support and excitement that came with a black man running for the office of the White House and being the first black president. So there was already excitement for that, and then there was the marketing of him pushing for change and being someone who was different on a lot of different levels, and the excitement and stuff like that eventually got him into the White House twice. With someone like Joe Biden when he ran in 2020, he was running both on these sort of changes, like, oh, like, we need to save democracy, and like this election is very crucial because people already experienced the 4 years of Trump, and a lot of people already didn't like Trump and the policies that he had going in. So people, like, there was a lot of rallying that came together of like, oh, people, if you want change and you don't want another 4 years of this, vote for Biden. And he also, again, had celebrities and stuff present, and celebrities pushing and endorsing him. Same thing with Obama. Um, when it came to Obama, he had celebrities like Oprah and like Beyonce helping push his campaign. And even once he got in, having them push the campaign. When it came to Joe Biden, like you had, girl, what I'm blanking. Who's that one rapper? I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Is that 2 Chainz? No, that's not 2 Chainz. Uh-oh. He's had celebrities before come and support and endorse his campaigns. And even Megan Thee Stallion also supported and endorsed the Biden campaign. Like she literally popped up at, I think, one of their events at the White House and like talked with Kamala Harris about reproductive rights because that's something that's very important for her. And so there's that for me that was like very like it made sense with her popping up at a Kamala Harris rally. The other thing that was important that like made me like understand like, oh, like this made sense was the fact that like if y'all don't know about Megan's charity that, or like not even charity but like her nonprofit that she runs, it's the, I'm blanking on what it's called. Apologies. It is called the, well, her nonprofit is the Pete and Thomas Foundation, which is named after her parents. And they, like, literally that foundation is known for like providing resources for women, children, you know, senior citizens, and like underrepresented communities, which are, you know, Black, Hispanic, Latino, the LGBTQ community. And she's done a lot regarding, you know, getting people engaged, getting people informed, supporting people during like the reliefs from like hurricanes, doing different community goodwill things, and having just different events and stuff to put, and like supporting housing, stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff, and even like they've done stuff in regards to like promoting and providing resources regarding reproductive rights. So all this stuff is just not surprising for Megan Thee Stallion because a lot of the stuff she is already passionate about, regardless of like who is in office. This was just something that she was already supportive in doing through her foundation, which out of the way is just already commendable. But, you know, her looking at, you know, the political moves and looking at who she wants to endorse, she already met Kamala before, and she's already supported Kamala before in the past. It was very smart for Kamala to reach out and be like, hey, Megan, you want to perform and pop out at my rally in Atlanta? And it was all very smart for both of them because, one, Megan Thee Stallion has already been doing her big thing with her album that has been a hit. You know, it's been a staple on the charts. You have the tour which wrapped up, which was a hit and was selling out in so many different arenas across the country and across the world now because she had her wrapped up her European leg. And then you have like she's been doing her big one. So she's already been doing her big one. So it's not surprising at all that like this adds to it. Like again, she's also been doing her performances at like Lollapalooza and I think Broccoli Fest. Like she's been performing. So like this just adds to the roster for her. It just keeps her in the news. It keeps her in the press. And as y'all saw with the conversations that happened here, she's been in the news. She's been in the press. Both for people being like, oh, like this is a smart thing for her to do, pop about at this rally. And other people being like, oh, like why is she here? Like, oh, this is like pandering, stuff like that, da 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 da. And again, circling back to like, oh, like is this pandering and not? People be pretending that like they don't be pandered to on a daily basis. Like marketing is everywhere, and we like marketing and celebrities are everywhere, and we all fall into it. Like very few people in our country in the current year that is 2024 rarely are removed from celebrities and from marketing like that. Like, and it's just not realistic because people get pandered to and get endorsed regardless. Like people, like let's break this down. Y'all go into stores shopping for groceries. Very like some people, most people if they have the money and to support, and because like again, might be a little bit of a bad example because we know groceries been getting up there in terms of price. A lot of people have their brands that they go and like buy when it comes to food or when it comes to, like their staples for storage and stuff like that, their games and stuff like that. They're like very rarely do people go and buy like like people do buy the off name brand, but some people will stick with their brands if they know that the brand is quality, regardless of like because they don't want to go out and try the off brand because it's like, oh, like there's the chance that it might be lower in quality. When it comes to movies and music that come out, like very rarely do people just like listen to music or just go and sit and see random movies that they ain't never heard of. They get marketed to, they see trailers, they get commercials for these movies, and they're like, oh, that looks interesting, let me go and see it. That's marketing, and that is like the way that y'all are describing pandering, that is in fact pandering. So it's like, well, damn, like, are y'all just sitting at home all day? Like, do y'all just like go on a whim? Like the car that you drive, obviously there's some research that y'all bring into it because y'all want a good car to drive, but for a lot of people, sometimes they just go off the brand. Sometimes they're just like, ooh, like, I know, like, let me buy, oh, like, my audience, it's like, oh, like, let me buy, a Honda or something like that, because I know, like, it's going to be reliable, because I know Hondas are reliable. Or, like, on the other extent, it's like, oh, like, let me get a BMW, let me get, let me get an Audi, let me get one of these high-priced cars, because, like, it's the name, it's the brand. So, for, like, a lot of people we all get marketed to, and it's okay, because, well, we're in a capitalist society. You can't really do anything about that. And even if we weren't, you still have to be aware of what is out there. So, and marketing is the way to make people aware of things. And that also applies to political campaigns. You're not aware of who is running for office, both on a federal level, yes, but also on a local level, without the marketing and promotion and the pandering that y'all call it as well. And with politics, there are certain aspects of it that is pandering, because they're trying to get everybody to vote. They're trying to get the underrepresented communities to vote. They're trying to get, they're trying to get people of all ages, the young people and the old people, to come out and vote. And they're trying to get women to vote. They're trying to get everybody to vote. And with a country like the United States, which largely is uninformed, not even uninformed, but very middle of the road when it comes to politics. Like, a lot of people aren't following the different things that are going on in like Israel and in Gaza right now. Like, the people aren't really following that to T in the United States. Like, if you polled people in the United States about their thoughts about what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now, like, some people probably, like, I'm pretty sure the majority of people will probably be like, oh, like, Israel should still be a state, but they also don't want, lives to be lost in Palestine. So there's like that conversation stuff, like again, very middle of the road when it comes to reproductive rights. Even though here in the United States we have a lot of states that have stripped away reproductive rights and abortion rights, and have banned certain things when it comes to reproductive rights. If you poll people across the country about what their thoughts on reproductive rights are, more than likely they still would be in support of Roe v. Wade. They are in support of Roe v. Wade still being there, and they are in support of reproductive rights. So it's largely just people who don't feel which way, or people who have voted in the candidates for, not for those specific policies, but for other policies that they're looking for. Or just like, again, like if they're in a red state, like this, it was bound to happen because the Republicans, the loudest ones in the room, have been so adamant and pushing for those things to be stripped. And then, I mean, again, in summary, to close this up, because I'm going to try to wrap this up on Megan. Like, there's so many things, like, I feel like people were trying to, there's always been people who have hated Megan Thee Stallion, and people have been trying to give her this, like, they've been trying to get a gotcha moment for like a long time, and we've seen that happen within so many ways. They've tried it with, you know, the loss of her mother. They've tried it with, you know, her label, like the old, like her previous label and the drama that she had with that. They tried it with like that one lawsuit that, you know, really didn't go anywhere, and as you know, they're already facing like the litigation on that because a lot of those things seem a little bit fishy. They tried it with the Tory Lane stuff. They tried it with the Nicki Minaj stuff. They tried it with the album performance with the new one, the self-titled album. Like, they are trying to find something that would stick, and the politics one is fairly easy to like go for because it's like, oh, like it's very easy to get people to turn when it comes to politics because politics is so polarized nowadays. But in the end of the day, this country cares a lot about celebrities, and I thought, regardless of how you feel about Kamala Harris or Megan Thee Stallion, it was a smart play for both of them. Then we moved to Megan Thee Stallion. We moved to Kamala Harris, and we talk about the fact that, like, again, this is a smart play because people would not have cared about the rally in Atlanta and wouldn't have been talking about the rally in Atlanta if it wasn't for the fact that Megan Thee Stallion was at the rally. Or Kamala had like a fairly interesting bit or like gaffe that had occurred at the rally, which we really didn't get. People were talking about Megan. So the fact that you have a very popular celebrity, a very popular artist who is really popping off right now, perform at your rally and basically endorse you, it is a very strong way to galvanize voters because they're like, oh, if Megan Thee Stallion is supporting her, if Megan Thee Stallion is endorsing her, ooh, this performance is good, maybe I should look into Kamala Harris. Maybe I should look into, you know, her policies. Maybe I should vote for her. Like, it's very simple, easy ways, and it's very straightforward. I feel like people try and pretend and act like they're bigger than the pandering when the majority of people are not. And I say the majority of people in this country who vote are not. And that's really all there is to it. Now, when it comes to Kamala, like, I think it's a smart play, but I think that so far the campaign has been really strong. Now that, you know, Biden has stepped back and she's stepping up, I think that she has really got people excited because, one, she's considerably younger than Biden and Trump, and the fact that this also could be another chance at the first woman, first female president, first, you know, multiracial president. Like, a lot of people, and like people have been like legit, like there's that has been working in her favor. There's the fact that like she has moved away from like, oh, like we need to save democracy, because that has not been working for Democrats for a while because democracy isn't really here and they haven't really done anything about it for a variety of reasons. But there is the fact that she transitioned away from that to the like, we're not going back, and freedom. These like things that really, regardless of who you are, can really mean something to you and can really like motivate people to go out and vote for her. Very smart plays. The people that she's been, like the celebrities and stuff that she's been booking and getting to endorse her, the people like a lot of celebrities have been going forward and endorsing her immediately once we knew that she was going to be the person running and that she was most likely going to be securing the nomination. It's all been very smart plays. Now, what I am hoping that we get next is policy. That's kind of the biggest sort of shortfall that I feel like she really has. I know some people have been like, oh, like she could just slap on the Biden policies that she's had and just like hinge on the fact on like the things that she's already done with the Biden administration. But I feel like she needs to add more because the Biden policies haven't really been enough. Biden won off of the promises and policies that he had, and some of those policies we've gotten, but a lot of those things we have not. And I think that with Kamala, while the promises and the excitement can get you so far, I think like adding policy and showing us, oh, like this is what the first 100 days is going to look like in a Kamala White House will be very important in securing voters. And I think that's just something that we don't have just yet. And I'm hoping we get that soon. And again, I think that's so far like the only weak spot of her campaign so far. Like everything else, I feel like she has been doing really smart, hiring the right advisors and the right people to help aid in her campaign. The GOP is in crisis mode right now because they have not prepared for how to properly run against Kamala because they thought they were going to be running against Biden. And they're just throwing everything at the wall. We have birtherism is back. We like people are questioning like, oh, like where is she from? There's people who are questioning like, oh, like is she Indian or is she black? There are people questioning, like they're making fun of her, like laughing, and how that's been like, but like that has turned around and become like a meme that hasn't worked in their favor. Now there's like the issue with like the next debate and how Trump is like having like they're like he's refusing to like debate her without being on his terms. Like it is a nightmare for the GOP, and it's all hilarious. And I think that the race will end up being 50-50. I'm hoping that, again, I'm saying like if Kamala has luck on policy and these debates go really well, she can get it, but it's gonna be a photo finish. And that's really it, I think, because I mean I can't really say it will be very embarrassing for the Republicans if they lose this year, because imagine having to explain to your fellow candidates, oh, like why, like the fact that y'all put up the same presidential candidate twice in a row and potentially y'all lost twice in a row. Like there's gonna be a lot of shakeups and a lot of meltdowns that will happen for the Republicans if he loses this year, and I'm kind of hoping for a loss because that will be very fun to watch. But that's all I got for this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed my thoughts on Megan Thee Stallion and Kamala Harris for a fairly political episode. I have not done a politics related episode before, but I hope you guys like this because I would love to talk about more topics than just music. It's still music related because Megan's in it, but I would love to branch out. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the Cake Radio YouTube channel. Get episodes first before anyone else at Cake Radio Show. And if you want to listen on your favorite podcast platforms, episodes come out next day. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and drop in the comments what you thought about her performance, what you think about Kamala, and all that stuff. So yeah, that's been it from me, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.